Welcome to County Magazine, a chance to find out what's new across Fairfax County. I'm Brian Ashby. On this edition, the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors put their money where their mouth is with an intimate look at their personal sustainability practices. We'll get the latest from the Office of Elections on everything you'll need to know come November, and the Cherished Community Center is renamed in Bailey's Crossroads. Plus, get your nature on and join Sully District Supervisor Kathy Smith for a walk in the park. The Fairfax County Board of Supervisors allocates much time and resources to environmental stewardship and sustainability. In this day and age, sustainable growth is not merely a feel-good aspiration. It's a moral imperative and the most likely successful strategy for future survival. So take a look at what our county supervisors are doing on their own time to ensure quality of life for the next generation.
The county has a very bold agenda to reduce carbon emissions, and because we know that relates to everything else, the quality of life of people, the health, the air that we breathe. It's essential to public health, but also to doing our part to protect our environmental treasures for future generations. And so to me, this is not a debatable issue. It's something that we've already put the pedal to the metal on in the county, and our residents agree. They follow the science and they know that this is a key to sustaining our environment long term.
I'm passionate about addressing the climate crisis and making sure that I personally do my part, but I also like saving money. We've been long-time EV owners and drivers for more than a decade, and what I always like to tell people is affordable EV options are available, right? I think when people think about EVs, they see the $50,000 or $60,000 Tesla, and that's certainly an option if you can afford it. But we own two EVs, both of which cost less than $15,000. So those affordable EV options are available. We've also been backyard composters for a long time, and I think when folks look at the amount of waste that they produce that goes out into their trash can on the curb every day, a significant amount of that is compostable material that you can throw in a bin in your backyard. It's very easy, very simple, and makes a big impact.
We were lucky enough to move into this house that already had a garden, so we were like, wow, we have to make use of it. And so right away we got to making sure that it was clean and that we're putting fresh soil in it. And then it came to thinking of what do we want here? What do we want to grow? My favorite part is absolutely the interaction with my family. It gives us something to do together. It's great to teach my young daughters about gardening and making sure that they understand the process and that they have fun while they're doing it, and then seeing something from nothing to the table, right? So it's this idea that you're planting something, it's growing, you're cultivating it, and then next thing you know, you're having a meal. It's important for our generation, previous generations, but most importantly for the generations to come. We need to make sure that we're leaving the planet not only where we found it or how we found it, but actually in a better place. And we need to start working on those things like reducing our carbon emission and carbon footprint right away. There's so many different things that you can do. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it really makes a difference in your community.
I live less than 2 miles from the office here at the North County Government Center. So it really does give me an opportunity to walk or bike whenever I can. When I walk, it's an opportunity for me to take care of sometimes phone calls that I can do along the way. Biking gives me an opportunity to see things that I don't always see. For example, sometimes there's debris in the bike lanes that builds up over time. So when I try to take different routes to really see how safe it is, where there are places that might need extra attention for bikers to be safe in the future too. I think it's important for everybody to do their part in addressing climate change. There are some choices that we make sometimes on a day-to-day basis that cumulatively can make an impact on how much of an impact we have on the environment.
But I remember the first time we went to visit a farm outside of Argentina, outside of Buenos Aires, and I just fell in love with it. And I've always wanted to, I've worked on farms, I've done what's called woofing, willing workers on organic farms, and I love helping and being on farms, but I also love urban life. So that's why I love being able to have gardens and agriculture in an urban environment. I know I grew up loving gardens and farming and gardening and not being afraid of it, right? And starting with that, not being afraid of it and the worms and the bugs. And now she loves it. She loves being outdoors like me. She loves being out there, and we're learning together, which is the really exciting part. I think just showing that we all own it, right? The county's not gonna do it on our own. The businesses aren't gonna do it on their own. It really takes all of us. And for me, it's about the next generation, right? And so things that maybe I learned and taught my parents, I hope my daughter will learn and then teach me and the next generation.
No doubt my favorite thing is just breathing the air and looking around and knowing that I'm exercising, you know, doing good while doing well. I'm helping my body, I'm doing good for the environment, and also helping myself be more physically fit. It's not only riding to my office, but sometimes I have an event that's at a school or right down the road or just a few miles over. I get some good exercise. At the same time, I can show people that yes, you can ride your bike in the community and it's safe and it's friendly and fun. What we do and how we represent that to others, in my mind, always matters. We got to practice what we preach. And that's what I try to always do, is I recognize that global warming is a real thing. I recognize that every one of us can do a little bit something more to reduce that impact. And for me to ride my bike on those days that I can is one more small contribution I can make.
I like to recycle my glass because it's infinitely recyclable. I bring it to the purple can, and then it gets recycled into new glass, and then the next product I buy at the grocery store in glass, I bring it to the purple can and it gets recycled. We also recycle in our office. We recycle our paper, if we have plastic. It is really important for all of us to join together to help reduce our carbon footprint. And we have many programs in Fairfax County that will help us do that.
It's important as a leader in a government to try and do my part. So whether it's driving a hybrid vehicle or a plug-in hybrid and making those investments for my family, whether it's trying to reduce single-use plastics. I got this from Fairfax Water, and it says Fairfax Water customers can fill this bottle with 20 ounces of water every single day for 10 years for the same cost as buying a 20-ounce $1.50 bottle of water. So reducing your plastic usage. Every little bit counts, and that's what we're trying to do in my family and hopefully in your family as well.
So I enjoy coming to the farmer's market because I get to pick my own kind of fresh produce, and I'll say I'm a big fan of watermelons, I like strawberries, melons are also on the list, and then the specialty items that the vendors here make. It's important that we come out to farmers markets to support our local farmers who are providing produce that we don't have to have transported long distances. We use recyclable bags like the one I have in my hand here today, as opposed to having that packaged material that you see in the supermarket and having all that plastic. Yeah, I think I'm like everybody else. I have a responsibility to make this place better. So just everything that we can do to protect the environment, to reduce climate change is going to be a positive for everyone.
In Fairfax County, our strategic plan and our One Fairfax racial and social equity policies guide everything that we do. So all of our work takes place with that lens layered on top. And when it comes to reducing our emissions and addressing the climate crisis, we know that equity emphasis areas, lower income communities, communities of color, are most at risk for the negative impacts of climate change. Everybody can do their part. Whatever you can afford and makes sense for you and your family, I urge folks to take that first step. If you do that, you'll probably be excited and encouraged to keep going forward with your energy efficiency and emissions reductions work.
I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but Election Day is right around the corner. Leading up to an election, I'm usually focused on the issues and the policies and the candidates, but I rarely wonder if my election registration is up to date, or whether my polling place has changed, or how to vote if I'm out of town. So here's the Office of Elections to fill us in on all the important stuff about this election that we probably were not thinking about.
Hello, I'm Sean Stewart, Deputy Registrar for Absentee Voting for the Fairfax County Office of Elections. Today we're pleased to share some important information about the upcoming general election. On Tuesday, November 5th, county residents will vote for President, Vice President, and their members of Congress. Additionally, a state constitutional amendment and 2 county bond issues are on the ballot. Herndon Town residents will also vote on mayor and town council. Registered voters, keep an eye on your mailbox for the Fairfax County sample ballot brochure. It will include information on where you vote, the different ways to cast your ballot, how to check your voter information, and of course, a sample ballot for your precinct. If you aren't registered to vote in Fairfax County, there's still time to complete your registration before the presidential election. If you are registered, please ensure your voter information is correct. You may do either of these online at vote.elections.virginia.gov. We strongly encourage you to register or update your address or name before the October 15th deadline. If you miss this deadline, you may complete a same-day registration at any early voting site or on election day at the polling place for the precinct where you live. However, if you complete a same-day registration, you must vote a provisional ballot, which isn't counted until after election day. Fairfax County offers 3 ways to vote. You may cast your ballot in person at any Fairfax County early voting location, vote absentee by mail, or go to the polls on election day. In-person early voting begins at 3 locations on September 20th. 13 additional locations open throughout the county on October 17th. You'll find opening times and locations on our website. To vote absentee by mail, complete an application online using your DMV-issued ID or driver's license on the Virginia Department of Elections website. Fairfax County is committed to accessible voting. All polling places comply with ADA guidelines, including offering ballot marking devices. Curbside voting is available for individuals over 65 and people with disabilities.
That's why we're here. Could you please state your name and address, ma'am?
Voters may request assistance from an election officer in marking their ballot or bring a companion to help them vote. Be sure to ask an election officer for a voting assistance form. Additionally, ballots are available with Spanish, Vietnamese, and Korean translations. On Election Day, November 5th, you must vote at your assigned precinct polling place. To look up where you vote, visit fairfaxcounty.gov/elections. Our website will have the most up-to-date information for any polling place location changes. Would you like to work at the polls? Thousands of people from across the county join their neighbors on Election Day to serve as election officers.
I do solemnly swear or affirm.
If you'd like to join them, visit our website today and apply to work at the polls. You will support the election process, serve your community, and earn $250 for your service. Remember, the best place to find accurate, up-to-date information about voting and elections is on our website, fairfaxcounty.gov/elections, or by following our X account at Fairfax Votes.
Did you know empowerment and support for residents facing vulnerability is an area of focus in Fairfax County? Visit our website and find out how the county is shaping the future of Fairfax to become a place where all residents facing vulnerability are empowered and supported to live independent lives to their fullest potential.
Recently, a diverse crowd gathered at the much-loved Bailey's Community Center in Falls Church to honor a local woman who had an outsized positive effect on the social and cultural lives of African Americans in the area. The event peaked with an unveiling of the community center's new name and a celebration to help kick off a new era of community cohesion and growth. Here's more.
I am proud and excited to be here today to honor one of the matriarchs of this community, Minnie H. Payton, for her impact and vision for the Bailey's community, particularly the Black community here in the first half of the 20th century.
2, 1, 0.
We're so excited to be here. We're excited to honor the legacy of Minnie, what she did for the community, her community involvement, the legacy she leaves behind, and most importantly, making sure that the community understands the history and the past of this great community.
Miss Payton was a pillar of Springdale, Bailey's Crossroads, historically black community that originated as a home to freedmen since the Civil War. In 1935, Minnie and her sister Florence became landowners here. In the 1950s, the women each sold 5 acres of land to the Fairfax County School Board. She saw Lillian Carey Elementary School built on her former land, a school that served black students until schools were desegregated. That former school site is now a part of today's Bailey's Community Center, where we are gathered today.
We're really excited to have the great-granddaughter of Minnie H. Payton here, as well as community activists, other elected officials. So it's a great gathering that says we are here, we're here as one, to make sure that this community center is as strong as it can be for the community.
Glad to have my family today, if you all could stand. These are descendants. Thank you. My great-grandmother used to say this: they purposely came to Bailey's Crossroads from DC to start a school for black children. And it's here, and it's still serving the community. And they got it bigger and bigger. And thankfully, we're not going anywhere. We're still gonna be here, doing for the community.
It may not mean much to some, but what did this community center do? It gave people a feeling of being involved and being respected and having something of their own. We produced through this community 2 lawyers, 3 graduates from West Point. We produced aviators, professional ball players, and I'm convinced that people like Ma Payton had something to do with that.
I know what's going to happen. Young people are going to come to the center, walk up to the front door, and they're going to say, "Who was Minnie Payton?" And that is exactly what we want them to do, because it will not only honor her, but it will also challenge the minds of those young people to go back in time and say, our history wasn't always the best, but what did we do in our present to address that?
At the end of the day, the most important part is that folks feel safe in the community, that they have a place to go, that they have activities that they know they can go to, and they can always see a friendly, smiling face when they walk in the doors here of the Minnie H. Payton Center, a place where you can do your activities and really participate in the community, because it's the community that is the center.
You know, we are so lucky to live in a county like Fairfax, where parks and natural spaces are valued above almost all else. Next on County Magazine, as the air begins to cool and the leaves start to turn, it's time again to lace up those hiking boots and commune with nature. And Sully District Supervisor Kathy Smith. Join Supervisor Smith and park staff for a refreshing walk through historic Eleanor C. Lawrence Park.
We're here for Supervisor Smith's walk in the park, and we're going to be starting at the Walney Visitor Center and going down through the trail system along Walney Creek, and then eventually crossing over Walney Road to Big Rocky Run. We're starting here at the Stone House at Walney, and we'll be passing the Smokehouse, the Cow House, and the Ice House. We've got a lot of houses here. And we'll talk about the cultural history and how those buildings were used for the farm. And then when we get down near Walney Pond, we're going to be visiting the Woodlands Stewardship Education Center, which is our new building and an outside play structure, and explaining the features of that unique building.
So we started the walk in the park a few years ago, and this is probably our 3rd one, and it's something I would love to turn into a yearly event, because I think it's great for people to learn about our community, about our parks.
And a lot of times I keep mentioning plants, more so than animals, even though I mentioned, emerald ash boring beetle or the spotted lanternfly.
And get out and enjoy this, the beautiful greenery and the animal sounds. And it's a great opportunity for people to get out and enjoy the resources we have in Fairfax County.
Eleanor Lawrence Park is 650 acres, so we are a square mile of green here in the Chantilly-Centerville area. We have a lot of people that come to the park to walk the trails or use our ball fields, but surprisingly, not a lot of people have come to the programs at the cultural sites or our natural history programs. So we love it when we have new visitors and we can introduce them to their park that we're here to take care of for them.
We continue to be one Fairfax, and we ensure that any amenities we have, or anybody in our community can come and use them. So it's, spreading the word about what's here. I was talking with John earlier, and he said there's been a lot of school groups coming through the Stewardship Center. So just spreading the word by people getting around, but the county is very aware of, creating venues and experiences that everybody is able to access. But I think a benefit of doing a walk like this is anybody that came on this walk is going to learn more new stuff, and hopefully they will share that with other people they meet.
I come here to do this for you all because it's yours, it's your park.
We've had a great time here today on our walk. Please go to the county website, fairfaxcounty.gov, to learn more, and we hope to see you out here in Eleanor C. Lawrence Park.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of County Magazine. Thanks for joining me. Remember, there are countless ways to get involved in your community and make Fairfax County an even better place to live, work, and play. I'm Brian Ashby, and we'll see you next time on County Magazine.